start on the left there, Anthony.
What were some of the self-scout things that you guys focused on over the bye week?
Yeah, I think really focused on trying to details of everything we're doing, and I think from ball security, basic stuff we did the first bye week as well. You kind of get a chance to go back and really make an emphasis. Obviously, that showed up in the last game, kept us from scoring probably a couple of touchdowns. So, really emphasizing the fundamentals. I think you go back to that when you're in the bye week, you have time to do that. You have some more individual time probably than you usually have on a practice schedule, which is awesome. And I think each and every position kind of goes through that and tries to improve all their fundamentals. And, Sharon's made a big emphasis on that with the team, and even for us, hey, on the practice schedule, let's make sure we're working the fundamentals this week and really improve for this last stretch run we're on here.
I know you guys aren't going to make excuses, but how much do you think the youth from the offense is playing a factor in some of the, maybe the issues?
Yeah, I think some, but, at the end of the day, we've played 9 games and they've played some now, so I'm really, really proud of that group, those young guys. Like, when you look at those offensive linemen, you're playing with, 3 young guys up there, and I'm really proud of them. I mean, we've had the last 2 times we've played, we've had the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week at running back, and I think that's a testament to those guys improving, and Grant's doing a great job coaching them. And, we signed them because we thought they were good players, and they're playing a little earlier maybe than expected, but no, I liked them. I think they're only going to get better and improve. You see that each week, and that group is this group, and Gio's kind of the veteran, him and Kripp, they've kind of pulled that group together some, I think, and you can see that those guys are kind of gelling as a unit. And obviously we know as the stretch run comes, we got to play better, at every position. But, right now I was really proud of them. If I had one thing, the last game we didn't pass pro as well, right, which caused some issues. But really, really excited about that group. The future's really bright, I think, with those guys.
In the back right, Charles.
Yeah, a couple of the players have said that the offense is close to clicking on all cylinders. What do you think are the factors in kind of holding them back so far?
From my standpoint, I don't know if we're ever happy with exactly where we are, from my seat. But, there's some things I think that are self-inflicted that are keeping us from getting to our potential. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited about the progress we've made. We've improved and all that. But our standard is going to be really high, when you talk about where we want to be offensively. Each year's different. The offense goes around the strengths of your players. We all understand that. But I really like the progress we're making. It's just the self-inflicted things clean up. Last week we had the turnovers. We talked about that. We didn't pass pro as well, so there's some things to clean up fundamentally with that and with the running backs. So just as a unit, continuing to grow and gel, and we've had some different combinations, but playing. But that's not an excuse. We got to get those guys ready to go, and that's kind of what our goal is and focus is right now.
On the right, Tony.
Yeah, just sort of bigger picture. If someone at the beginning of the season had said that maybe there would only be 7 passing touchdowns at this point in time, would you be surprised at that?
No, I mean, we're 7-2 and playing well. So, my thing is I'm not really caught up in the stats. We just want to win and do the best job we can do based on what we have right now. And no, I mean, I remember when I had Drake in 2023, it seems like we got tackled inside the 5 on all our long passes and stuff, and we ended up running it in. Marion Hampton had a bunch of touchdowns, and Drake didn't have near as many passing touchdowns. He didn't care. It's like one of the things we want to win. So I don't really, really know much about that other than we want to score touchdowns every time we get down there, whether we throw it or run. It doesn't really matter to me.
But just continuing with the pass game, I mean, you guys have been so consistent in the run game. Do you think that there will need to be a game coming up here where the pass game has to be more efficient?
Well, yeah, I think we always want to be more efficient, but with 250 yards the last 2 times out over in Big Ten play, so it's, if we're going to run it well, that's fine. We want to run it well, and if we need to throw it, to win, then we have to, or whatever. I think you have to be multiple, but there's a lot of factors involved in that. But again, where we are offensively, I just think, winning the game's the most important thing, and whatever it takes to do it, we're going to do that.
On the right here, Zach.
What are your thoughts on just playing in Wrigley and maybe any challenges that present itself?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been to Wrigley, so I'm excited about that venue and seeing that. But once the game starts, it's on the same field. I know it's maybe a little tighter, but yeah, it'll be kind of a cool experience, and play early that day, so we'll get up and be ready to go. And I think we're looking forward to it. We're going to play a really good team. That's one thing that kind of, I don't know if many people are taught. Those guys are really good on that side of the ball. The the defense we're fixing to play statistically is really good, and you can see it on film. Those guys know what they're doing, the system they're in. They're very good players, and their coaches do a great job. So big challenge for us, and that's why I'm glad we had the bye week so we could get some guys maybe back. And we've had a good week and a half of practice so far, so need to finish the week the right way. Big challenge for us on the road.
And what are some of those strengths that you see from Northwest?
Yeah, I think their front seven is really impressive. When you talk about the D linemen, 91-4, really jump out. Obviously, number one, I think, is a really good player. Those linebackers, they run sideline to sideline. They play downhill. The safety, number 6, is impressive. I think his name's Fitzgerald. He's impressive downhill. You can tell they play with confidence. They know what they're doing. They know where their weaknesses are. They understand that, and I just see a physical bunch that we're going to have to make sure that we're ready to go, because if we sleepwalk Saturday morning getting ready, then we're not going to be in the best position to win. These guys are going to be ready to go, and we got to make sure we are as well.
Ryan remembered his question.
How much would you say your offensive game plans have changed or varied from week to week, based off of what you think your guys' strengths are compared to maybe what some weaknesses are on the defenses?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I go back to, I think offensive football is about trying to get the ball to your best players, and we got 2 backs that are really good players. We understand that. And I think each week you build your game plan based on 2 things: what you're going to see or anticipate that you're going to see, and then also what your strengths are as an offense. And that's kind of I think where it starts. And then as you go through the week, different situations, whether it's third down or red zone, there's some things that you have to adjust to. But I just think for us, the way our team is built right now, being able to run the football is extremely important for our success, and then everything kind of plays off of that.
In the back, Alejandro.
Chip, as you guys have been maybe finding some inconsistencies with your third wide receiver, what's your philosophy between trying to establish that person versus running more 12 personnel and leaning on your tight end?
Yeah, we play probably as much 12 as anybody, depending on how you count those tight ends. Defenses sometimes see some of those tight ends as receivers, so they play nickel defense instead of playing base. But I think, again, it goes back to trying to get our best players in position and put them in position what they do the best. Some guys are great option runners, some are great vertical runners, whatever it is. And I think that's the trick every week, is figuring out, what fits the defense we're going to see, and then what fits the guys we have now. Sometimes we'll be in 11, sometimes we'll be in 12, and I think being multiple is the key.
Back right, Angelique.
Chip, is there anything you can do different with Jordan versus Justice?
Different, probably. I wouldn't say we try to do things a lot different. I do think they're 2 different styles, maybe sometimes, but they're both effective. What they do, I think Jordan, you see the pile move a lot when he's in there. It's kind of the muddy runs, and he broke one long one the other night. Justice has broken several long ones, right, from long distance, so that sticks out. But I've seen him punish safeties as well. So I like the combination of the 2. Obviously, would be better than having one, but at the end of the day, I think our offense is what it is, so to speak, and I think Jordan can adapt to whatever we're doing. He's good in pass pro. He's good at catching the ball in the backfield. So, no, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. We just got to, again, it goes back to executing up front and the details of what we're doing, and that's kind of what we're focused on no matter who the tailback is.
And he had some cramping at the end of the last game.
Yeah.
Do you want to limit, how many carries would you like?
Yeah, I think he needs to be in that number of 20, 25 touches, whether it's carries or whether it's touches, throwing the ball to him where you feel like you're pretty sure he's going to get the ball. I think he played 50-something snaps or something, which is probably a little much. But the young guys are coming on, Bryson as well as Jasper, so I think there's going to be a good mix, a good combination. We can't let him play too many snaps, but at the same time, he's going to be a workhorse for us at times. And I think Tony's doing a great job of going through our game plan, trying to figure out where we can, put the other 2 guys in. And one thing, they got some reps against Purdue, which was really good. And I think that's going to help them develop and more comfortable. I think a lot of that, as young players, is just confidence, confident, hey, I can go in and do this. And because they were all really good high school players at some point. But there's always, when you're a high school, I remember being in 10th grade thinking, man, I'm fixing to start my first game laying there during stretch, and I hope I can do this, and there is that, and then the next year, the 2 years later, now you're used to the speed of the game, you're used to everything that goes with it. I think it's the same thing in college, and the more those guys get reps, the better they're going to be, and we got a lot of confidence in them for sure.
On the left, Clayton.
I was going to ask about Jordan too, but in the box, do you ever shake your head at just like how hard he runs and how much he pushes the pile? Have you been around a running back that runs as hard as he does?
Yeah, we've had a couple. Omarion Hampton sticks out. Kerryon Johnson at Auburn sticks out. I think what's cool when you're up high in the press box and you know it kind of when it wads up in there and you see the pile move. I like seeing the linemen chasing and pushing too instead of just standing there, which our guys do a good job of that. But definitely it's cool to see him because for him he's a powerful guy. He gets behind his pads very well and moves the pile, and that's exciting to see as a coach for sure. When you want to be able to run the football and you can hand it off in there and feel like you're going to get positive yards.
On the left, Andrew.
You've talked about how the ultimate goal of a game is winning it. I guess are there elements of play calling in regards to like playing complementary football that maybe the average person doesn't realize?
Oh, for sure, yeah, 100%. Each week we sit down as a group, Wink and myself and Sharon, and say, okay, what do we need to do to win the game? I think that's the most important thing. And then I think sometimes it's a feel as you're going. Okay, we're having success doing this, so you'd hate to go down and try to do something that maybe you hadn't had success at and make a mistake when. The obvious question then, why don't you just keep doing what you're doing, right? So I think there's a balance there. Don't get me wrong, we want to be a balanced offense, but at the end of the day, the number one goal is to win the game, and we're in a great spot. We got all our goals are still in front of us. We control our own destiny, so we understand that it's going to get harder here as we go. It does. November's they remember November, so to speak, and the games are going to be. Every game's a challenge, but the later the season, the bigger the games are. So we definitely need to be able to be versatile and do both. But at the same time, I'm proud of the guys that are when they have success, whether it's the running back, the quarterback, whoever it is. So yeah, I would say that we'll just keep trying each week, find ways to win the football game. That's the most important, and complementary football is part of it. I think when I was a younger guy, I probably didn't do a great job of that. How many times can we snap it, and how fast can we go? And I think over the years, you become maybe a little more wise to that kind of philosophy. But one thing about our building here is we're all on the same page. This is what it's going to take to win the game, and I think Wink and I do a great job of communicating. If the defense has been on the field for a long time, we're going to try to stay on the field a little longer, right? So they can not go right back out. I think that's part of playing complementary football and something we take a lot of pride in for sure. Yep.
Right here, Aaron.
With 3 games left on the schedule, what do you want to see out of the offense?
Yeah, just continue to grow, but take care of the ball. That's the thing. We're in the big games when you turn the ball over. That's usually when you And the other day, you think about it, we had 2 turnovers. I think they were both inside the 15. One of them went out for a touchback. The pick, we had a guy open in the end zone if we just see him. And on the scramble, he did a great job scrambling, protected the ball moving out with 2 hands on it. But then, those are the 2 things that stick out to me as a coordinator. Let's protect the ball. Let's don't put it on the ground. Let's don't turn it over. Let's make them earn everything and make them stop us. And if that's the case, fine. But that's what we're really focused on. I know Sharon's mentioned it to our team. We did a team ball security drill during the off week. We do ball security obviously every week, but we did it as a unit, as a team. And D lineman picks up a ball, you see it all the time on TV, and somebody comes behind them and knocks it out, whatever it is. Just trying to hit all the details and emphasize that. So, because to me, when you protect the ball, your chances of winning go way up.
Got time for a few more. We'll start with Tony.
All right, Tony.
Sharon has been calling this now moving into quarter 3, right? If you sort of, I don't know if you do, if you look at the first quarter, those were Bryce's first 4 starts as sort of like learning, getting his feet wet. What did you see in this second quarter of the season where you saw growth, and what is reasonable for him to grow this season before?
Yeah, I think the more he plays, the more comfortable he's going to get. I think it's about reps when you have a young player. He's again, it goes back, we talked about this protecting the ball. I think that's the thing that bothered me the most because he's really, most of the year, really done a nice job of that. And then I think, all the way around, we got to do a great job protecting him. We got to do a great job catching the ball when we get opportunities, and it all kind of works together. But I like his growth. It's funny. I was leaving here last night, and this guy's up here. I know he's past 10:45 because that's when I was here. He's in there watching third downs. A guy that loves football. He's a football fanatic, so to speak, and wants to improve. And that's what's made him. That's really what's earned him a lot of respect with our team here is the way he's operated. He's coming here, blue collar, go to work, earn his way, and I just want to see him continue to do that. And the more he plays, I think the better he's going to get.
Last question over here, Zach.
With 12 personnel or really any kind of set, and with all the injuries to the tight ends, how comfortable do you feel kind of mixing in any of those guys to be able to execute, and do you kind of change what you do based on?
Not really, because like Washington, we had a couple of our tight ends not play when the Washington game, and the next guy stepped up, and a couple of them played really good. I got a lot of confidence in that room. I think that's one of the areas we've recruited really well, and those guys have, when they had their opportunity, they've, mistake here or there, but they made plays, and I like that unit. We were talking about them this morning. You got a lot of different body types in there and different skill sets in there, but at the end of the day, they're all in that tight end group, and I think that allows us to be more versatile. And so far, they've answered the bell, and they're going to have to continue to do that because everybody's got injuries this time of year. Everybody's got to play young players. That's no excuse, and I think we really do, and you've seen it show up with tight ends and running backs, next man mentality. And they've really bought into that. So I like that group. I think they're improving, and we need them here down the stretch too.